In 2001, floodwaters submerged a quiet village in southeastern Iran. And when the waters receded, the ground revealed not just mud, but thousands of graves that had lain hidden for 5,000 years. At that very moment, a frantic race began between looters and archaeologists, a race that continues to this day. Because Iran, this land that once ruled half the ancient world, still conceals treasures no one has found yet. Golden thrones that vanished, royal tombs never opened, and entire caves of silver and bronze swallowed by silence. Today, we'll take you on a journey through 5 of the greatest lost treasures in Iranian history. Treasures that scholars are still searching for at this very moment as you watch this video. For thousands of years, Persia was the center of the world. From the magnificent Achaemenid capital to the silver-plated palaces of the Sassanids, through civilizations almost no one had heard of until recently, every empire left behind a fortune. But wars, invasions, and floods scattered this wealth in every direction. Some was stolen, some was deliberately hidden, and some, simply, still lies sleeping beneath the sand. In this episode, we won't just talk about treasures that vanished, but about the real stories of the scholars who chase them to this day. Investigators, smugglers, and thieves who became local legends. If you love the mysteries of ancient civilizations, you're in the right place. Hit subscribe now so you don't miss upcoming episodes, because what we're about to reveal might change the way you see the entire history of the Middle East. In the 5th century BC, King Darius I built the city of Persepolis. Not just a capital, but Persia's grand showcase to the entire world. At the heart of this city stood the royal treasury, chambers filled with gold, silver, and gifts brought by all the peoples subject to the empire. Ancient historians describe this treasury as one of the greatest fortunes the ancient world had ever known. But in 330 BC, Alexander the Great arrived at the gates of Persepolis. What happened next changed the course of history. The treasury was plundered, the gold loaded onto thousands of mules and camels heading west. And then, the city itself was set ablaze. But the question that still occupies researchers today is, was the entire treasury looted? Some historians believe part of the wealth was hidden before the invading army arrived, buried by loyal guards who foresaw the city's fall and never returned to reclaim it. In recent decades, excavation teams working around Persepolis have found storage chambers and passageways that haven't been fully studied, reviving this theory. A team of Iranian archaeologists is still working today to survey the area surrounding the famous stone platform, searching for any undiscovered void or passage. Strangely, Persepolis itself remained forgotten for centuries, until European travelers rediscovered it in the 17th century. So imagine what might still lie buried around its edges, untouched. To this moment, there is no definitive answer, but every new excavation season in this region carries a slim but real possibility that someone might one day find the chamber Alexander never found. Tell us in the comments, do you think Persepolis's treasury still lies underground? Or did Alexander take everything? We'll read the best answers in the next episode. In 1877, on the banks of the Amu Darya River, once known as the Oxus, a group of merchants stumbled upon an astonishing hoard. Hundreds of gold and silver pieces, bracelets, small statues, and miniature chariots dating back to the Achaemenid era, more than 2,400 years ago. But the story doesn't end with the discovery. It begins there. Because instead of handing the treasure over to scholars, these merchants split it among themselves to sell in the markets. Along the way, the caravan was attacked by bandits, and the golden pieces were scattered into different hands. Some were sold, some were lost, and some vanished entirely and have never been found to this day. What has reached us today, now displayed in the British Museum, represents only a fraction of the original treasure. Archaeologists still aren't entirely certain of the true location where the pieces were first found, because the merchants documented nothing. Was the treasure an offering made to an ancient temple on the riverbank? Or was it hidden away by some ruler of a remote Persian province? Even scholars specializing in Achaemenid art still disagree on the answer. And more importantly, if only this portion survived the journey to market, what happened to the rest of the treasure? Where did the pieces go that were lost that night more than a century ago? This exact mystery is what makes the Oxus Treasure different from any other archaeological discovery. We're not just searching for its original burial site, but for its missing half, scattered through history and never recovered. If you're enjoying these details, don't forget to hit the like button now. It helps the channel reach more history lovers like you. This next story isn't about a single lost treasure, but about an entire civilization that nearly vanished before the world ever knew it existed. In early 2001, the Halil River flooded in Kerman province in southeastern Iran, and the waters swept away entire layers of soil, exposing thousands of graves dating back 5,000 years, belonging to a civilization no one had known existed. The problem was that local residents, struggling with poverty, reached the site before any archaeologist did. They began digging tens of thousands of holes by hand, pulling out ornately carved stone vessels and jewelry inlaid with carnelian and lapis lazuli to sell on the black market. Within just a few months, the markets of Tehran and Bandar Abbas, and even the auction houses of London and Paris, were flooded with artifacts of mysterious origin, with no one certain exactly where they had come from. When Iranian archaeologist Youssef Majidzadeh began studying these pieces, he realized he was looking at a completely unknown civilization, one now called the Jiroft Civilization, which some researchers believe may be linked to a legendary kingdom mentioned in ancient Mesopotamian texts under the name Arada. But the disaster had already happened. Thousands of graves were completely looted, without a single bone left behind. Some researchers later described it as one of the largest acts of archaeological looting in modern history. In 2003, following a major raid at the port of Bandar Abbas, Iranian authorities seized hundreds of pieces on their way to being smuggled abroad. But even today, no one knows exactly how many pieces left Iran before controls began. Estimates range from a few hundred to tens of thousands. Archaeologists are still, at this very moment, trying to reassemble the picture of this lost civilization, piece by piece, from museums and private collections scattered around the world, searching for pieces they don't even know the location of. If this is your first time watching this video, now's the perfect time to subscribe to the channel, since we publish a new episode about the mysteries of ancient civilizations almost every week. In the rugged Zagros Mountains, western Iran, shepherds tell an old story about a cave full of gold and silver, guarded by an ancient curse. For decades, this was thought to be nothing more than local legend, until 1989. That year, a shepherd stumbled upon a real cave, hidden among the rocks, containing hundreds of ornately decorated bronze and silver vessels, dating back to the late Elamite period, around the 7th century BC. No one had ever heard of this treasure before. It wasn't recorded in any document or archaeological map. And just as happened with Jiroft, the looters got there before the archaeologists. Hundreds of pieces scattered into the black market, gradually surfacing in Western auction houses and museums with no known origin, and researchers later named it the Kalmakarra Treasure, after the cave where it was found. Remarkably, Iranian authorities are still, to this very day, working to recover these pieces one by one through legal and international negotiation, chasing smuggled artifacts across decades. Some pieces have already been recovered and placed in Tehran's museums. But researchers believe a large number of the original pieces, perhaps hundreds, remain completely unaccounted for, scattered among private collections whose owners may not know, or may not even realize, what they truly possess. And herein lies the paradox. One small cave completely changed our understanding of late Elamite art, and it's still scattering its mysteries across museums whose addresses we don't even know. What do you think? Do you believe there are other caves like this still undiscovered in the Zagros Mountains? Write your opinion in the comments. Our team genuinely reads every single one. In 1739, the Persian king Nader Shah invaded the city of Delhi and returned to Iran laden with unimaginable wealth. The jewel-encrusted Peacock Throne, the famous Koh-i-Noor diamond, along with enormous quantities of gold and precious stones, gathered into a caravan said to have taken days to cross the border. For a brief period, Nader Shah's treasury became one of the greatest fortunes ever amassed by a single individual in history. But in 1747, Nader Shah was assassinated by his own bodyguards. And in the chaos that followed the assassination, the treasury was completely scattered. Some generals fled with portions of it, some pieces were stolen that very night, and others made their way through Afghanistan to India and later to Britain. The Peacock Throne itself, in its original form, was never seen again. What is displayed in Tehran today under that name is a later throne made during the Qajar dynasty, not the piece Nader Shah brought back from India. So what happened to the original throne? Some historians believe it was dismantled, its precious stones recycled into other jewelry over the following decades, now scattered among pieces whose true origin no one knows. To this day, researchers of royal jewelry history try to trace the path of these stones through old documents, searching for any lead that might take them to the original piece that vanished on that bloody night more than 2.5 centuries ago. A royal treasury hidden before a city's fall, a treasure scattered among thieves' hands, an entire civilization looted within months, a legendary cave still scattering its secrets, and a golden throne that vanished in a single night of assassination. 5 different stories, but they all carry the same truth. Iran, with its long history, still holds secrets yet untold. And every year, archaeologists head out into the field, not just to dig into the earth, but to dig into time itself. If you enjoyed this journey, hit like now. Subscribe to the channel to be the first to watch the next episode, and tell us in the comments, which of these 5 treasures would you most love to find yourself? See you in the next episode with another secret from the ancient world.